one country or the other. We waited till we had strong, hard evidence to be making the case that we're making today. Now, let me say that we all claim that terrorism in all its forms and manifestations is condemnable. We also know that it poses a serious threat to peace and security. And I think if there's one thing that has bogged this region down, it is the scourge of terrorism. And there's one country which has been on the receiving end of the scourge of terrorism, it is Pakistan. Yet the other country, which is the source of terrorism in Pakistan, continues to play the drum of being the victim of terrorism. I mean, it's a remarkable world, right? It's a very interesting proposition that we find ourselves in. Now, coming back to the Lahore incident, it is a clear evidence of a terrorist attack which was planned, which was supported by India, which was to target innocent civilians in Pakistan, Lahore, Johor town. The judicial authorities have brought the perpetrators of this attack to justice, who have received punishment, but these were only the front line, as we all know. The masterminds and the facilitators remain at large and under Indian state patronage and protection. I can assure you that the government of Pakistan will pursue this relentlessly at every level. Now, India has already earned the infamy for its terrorist designs and actions. Its actions in the IIOJK, the infamous massacre in Indian Gujarat, which made some countries close its door on many well-known Indian leaders, and which still ensures that many other Indian leaders still continue to glorify this incident. They want to identify with that incident rather than away from the incident. This shows the psyche which is currently going on. And I tell you, it's a dangerous one. All of these point to one objective and one method. The objective is to undermine Pakistan's peace and security, and the method is simple: terrorism. Now, we can call what India is doing to be many things, okay? I think, fragment of a sentence which describes it well is chronic terrorism syndrome, okay? And how do you define it? You perpetrate terrorism, you fully supported and abetted by the state. The Lahore incident, the Samjhota train incident, the Yadev evidence all point out to that. You play as a victim of terrorism to gain international sympathy and create subterfuge. No country has used terrorism better than India. To play on the back of the attention of the world on terrorism and to play the victim, no country has benefited from it better. It will not be very wise to bring it in this context, but allow me to remind all of you that India is a country which continues to be what I call a rogue state. Because a country that tries to deny the existence of Security Council resolutions and insists on other countries imagining a certain part of disputed territory as its own shows what type of a mindset this country has. And I can say, of course, it's a very, very dangerous mindset. Create hurdles in judicial proceedings when terrorism cases are sub judice. Paralyze United Nations Security Council. And this is also very rich because, do what you blame others for. Okay? So India has been consistently paralyzing United Nations Security Council's sanctions regime by blocking listing of Indian terrorists actively aided and financed by the state of India. Mr. Dongara. All 4 names blocked by India in UNSC listing. And obviously, I think I don't need to remind anyone, please, and weaken their economies to try and pursue its hegemonic designs in the region. CPEC, Balochistan are very good examples. I also question, I can just try and remind India that you cannot have islands of excellence in a sea of depravity. So when you try and harm your region, you actually end up harming yourself. Now, we can understand that India is currently very frustrated because Pakistan has been, because of the delisting of Pakistan from FATF's grey list, right? They have completely mastered the art of using international organizations for their political gains. I think they should give lessons on that type of diplomacy to the world. Now, this cannot change the fact that India remains the recruiter, the financier, the facilitator of various terrorist outfits and foreign terrorist fighters within the region. The world may be ignoring this, what I would consider to be a festering pool of terrorism, but at its own peril. What is ironic, as I've already said, is that India has been beating the terrorism drum, chairing UNSC meetings on terrorism. Now it has been caught red-handed in this particular incident, orchestrating terrorist attacks in its neighboring country, Pakistan. Responsibility now to hold India accountable for its terrorist actions. So we are looking for accountability. The Lahore incident for us is a test case for the credibility and integrity of international counter-terrorism and counter-financing of terrorism regimes. The world must show that efforts to counter terrorism are non-discriminatory. The international conscience cannot be held hostage to what are clearly political and economic exigencies of the time. I also want to draw the world's attention to the victims who lost lives or were injured in the Lahore terrorist incident, as well as their families and loved ones. They look towards all of us for justice. We have shared this dossier with the members of the United Nations Security Council. We are also sharing it with the UN Secretary General. We hope that they would look into this evidence and fulfill their responsibility. Pakistan, for its part, will remain fully committed to eradicate terrorism in all its form and manifestations. As far as this specific issue is concerned, I know you already know from the Interior Minister's briefing, but I will just repeat. Red warrants through Interpol have already been issued. Mutual legal assistance requests to countries whose territory has been used for this incident have been sought, and we are, as we already said, will be formally taking it up at the UN. We have shared the copies, are in the process of sharing the copies of the dossier with the Security Council members and the United Nations Security